speed. That means we're rolling. It's a heavyweights reference. Ben Stiller. If you get it, you get it. Hey Doll fam, welcome back to an all new episode of Monday Coffee with the Doll. This week's episode is just going to be kind of a catch up so I can talk to you guys a little bit about the projects that I'm working on and all of the new stuff that has had so much of my time and attention. I've been having a hard time making sure that I'm keeping up with everything, but I guess that's kind of what happens when you make sure that your happiness is always trending. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the previous episode. It explains everything. So one of the things that I'm bound determined to get control over in my, I guess my work and my business and my content and my brand is I allow imposter syndrome to steer the boat, and I can't do that. I can't do that anymore. You know, when you decide that you want to do something, like when you pick the thing that you're going to dedicate your all to, there's always going to be things that pop up, right? There's always going to be some type of hiccup or roadblock or something that gets in your way. And I think imposter syndrome is probably one of the biggest roadblocks for me because I don't really value myself as, I guess, any type of serious entity. In a way, it's, you know, I value what I do, and when I team up with brands and small businesses and things like that, I never really question myself because I just go into this mode of, you know, these people are trusting me to be a part of what they're so passionate about, and there's no way I'm gonna let them down, right? I respect small businesses so much, and the fact that small businesses in kind of the scene that I'm in, you know, like pin up and you know, just kind of homemade jewelry and hair flowers and hand sewn clothing, you know, a lot goes into that stuff, and there's in no way I would ever want those artists and creators and small businesses to ever feel taken advantage of, because that's a lot to give to somebody, and hope that they can create something that pays for not only the product, you know, but the marketing that you're being hired on to do so. So when I do stuff like that, I always have a lot of confidence in myself because I've done it for so long. But when it comes to just me directly and me being like this representation of, I really struggle with taking myself seriously. And I really have a hard time with feeling like I'm capable of being, you know, this boss of a business babe that I really ultimately am striving to be. And I think that's something that's always gotten in the way of me succeeding in the business that I'm in, is because I've always been my roadblock. I think one of the most important things for self-growth is self-awareness. If you're not aware of your own toxic traits, there's no way you're going to be able to call them out. And if you don't call them out, you can't start acknowledging them. And if you don't acknowledge them, you can't start working on them. And if you don't start working on them, you're never going to grow out of them. I think that it can be really scary to hold yourself accountable, especially if you come from any background of trauma, or you have issues, you know, with confidence or self-worth or things of that nature, because, you know, if you already kind of live in this mental state where everybody devalues you, you know, and you already have up all these walls to protect yourself from personalities like that, you just kind of automatically assume that everything is just going to be negative and judgmental. So it can be challenging to call yourself out when you feel like you're the only person that might have your back. You know what I mean? But that's why you need to be the one that calls yourself out the most, because it's really important to constantly live in a reality of self-awareness. You know what I mean? It's like I say, you have to learn to make peace within yourself so you can walk in love with others better. And what I mean by that is that if you do not understand yourself, if you and yourself are not best friends, if you and yourself aren't in a really great relationship that you're always working to make better, then what are you even doing? I think that a lot of people refuse to call out their own toxic traits because a lot of people live in a reality of the victimization of those toxic traits, and I think that that's kind of a really dangerous mindset for your self-growth to ever get into, because once you kind of go into that state of accepting I'm a victim and kind of allowing some of that stuff to dictate the choices that you make, or the paths that you choose, or the opportunities you go after, or the type of people you interact with. All of that stuff kind of collects together, and it just creates this chaotic environment that nobody can grow in. Nobody. So I think one of the things that's most important for self-growth is to make sure that you're weeding your own garden. Everybody is so quick to weed everybody else's garden, and tell them, what they could be doing better to make their flowers bloom bigger or live longer. And meanwhile, there's all of these weeds that are like choking out all of their best qualities because they're too busy living in this weird, if I constantly focus on everybody else, then I don't have to worry about the weeds in my garden. So that's one of the things that I really want to focus on, is I want to focus on the things that I can be in control of, that I know are holding me back. And one of those things is talking openly and sharing about my content and promoting myself and finding value in what I do and what I create to the next level. Because I struggle with that. I come from an environment where my self-worth, I joke all the time, hi, my name is Emily Doll, and my toxic trait is that I'm a doormat, and that I will put myself out there for anybody to help them in any way, shape, or form at the expense of myself every single time. I will ignore myself to the point where, and just constant, like, if you need me, I'm there. And that's because for a very large piece of my life, the relationships that I was closest with of every facet were very much exploiting that. So when you kind of get into this one mindset for so long, from like your childhood on, it can be really hard to break out of those mindsets, and it's really scary. And I think one of the things that I'm learning the most is that, honestly, the things that you feel are the most difficult to get through, the things that when you hear them, you're just like, I can't, no, I can't. Those are the things that you definitely need to get brave enough to chase after, because those are the things that will get your happiness trending. The things that make you uncomfortable, the things that challenge your comfortability in whatever it is you're doing, are going to be those things that kind of push you a little bit further. What is the point of doing anything if you're not constantly striving to grow bigger and better and do more? And I think one of the things that I've been struggling the most in as a content creator is kind of giving myself credit in how long I've been a content creator, kind of tooting my own horn. When I was doing pinup, I struggled a lot ever giving myself the credit that I deserved as, a professional, a specialist in the genre that I was working. For me, it wasn't just, ooh, I love pinup, and pinup's so cute, and I'm gonna do my hair and my makeup, and I'm gonna wear polka dots, and ooh, I'm a pinup model. Ooh, I'm a pinup model. It was something I was so passionate about that I wanted to know and understand everything about it, and that's what I did. I dedicated everything to it because it was my most important thing. But I was always afraid to say, yeah, I am the vintage doll, and no, I'm not here to compete in the contest, because I'm here to judge the contest, because I am a specialist. Toot, toot. That's really hard for me, and I think that, there's a healthy balance. There's a very, very healthy balance between being humble and, being proud of what you've built and what you've studied and learned and earned and worked towards. And then I think that there's a really easy, just this ego, bravado, false sense of, entitlement. I think that there's a huge difference. And I think that for me, I panic because I'm so fearful due to past traumas that I went through that I just automatically will sweep those off the table. And I'm limiting my opportunities. I'm limiting my growth by being too fearful of outgrowing my own damn pot. So ultimately, what I have been really focusing on over, the past few months is just really balancing myself out. And now that I have officially, you know, retired from being a professional pinup model, I think that was a really big step that needed to take before I could really move forward in my journey, you know, as a creator, with my brand, with my work, with who I am as a person, a mom, you know, everything. You really have to be able to close chapters in your life that are done so you can fully transition and move on. And I think that it can be so scary to do that we tend to leave the door open. And then we're like, why is my ass cold? Where is that draft coming from? And it's like, well, close the damn door. You're not going back out there. You're done, right? And if you're not done, or you don't know, then you need to spend some time figuring it out. Because if you consistently live in this state of limbo because you're too afraid to move this way or that way, or you're too afraid to offend this person or that person, or you might fail, spoiler alert, you're probably gonna, I'm not gonna lie to you, you're gonna fail. You're gonna fail. We all fail. It's part of life. You have to fail so you know where to remove the things that don't fit who you are, or your ideas, or your morals, or your ultimate goal. You know, you have to figure that out, and you can't figure that out if you're just in limbo. And I've allowed myself to be in limbo for too long, and I'm a very fearful person. I don't like change. I have a lot of anxieties and panic attacks, and I have all kinds of things that are constantly pushing against me, but they're always going to feel like they're just squashing me into the ground if I'm not pushing back. So I've been pushing back much harder, and I've been challenging myself, and it's been really difficult. And one of the ways that I'm challenging myself is just being more accepting of who I am and what it is that I want my brand to represent, and not being so fearful that of I don't even know what, you know. I think that a lot of us let completely unacknowledged fears that we don't even really know what they necessarily are. It's just we're scared. And it's okay to be scared. I'm scared. I'm scared that every time, you know, I'm like, hey guys, support this, I'm afraid that literally nobody's going to show up. When I did my live, that was terrifying. I did a live feed the other Friday, 2 Fridays ago, to talk about, you know, my print that was for sale. And I was terrified nobody was going to show up. I haven't done a live in so long, and I'm terrified nobody's going to show up. And I did it anyways, and I had a really good time, and I hung out with so many of you that did show up to hang out with me. We saw some really cool shit happen. If you weren't there, you'll have to go find it on my page and watch it, because be there or be square. One of the things that I've always struggled with in my life is going after the things that I want that make me happy, because everything has always came second to what somebody else in my life wanted. Everything that's important to me is always on the back burner. And then when somebody's done using the stove, I can use the good one, the hot burner. And I'm tired of that. I'm tired of it, but I can only blame myself at this point. If I continue to allow anything to keep my happiness from trending, the only person I can blame is myself at this point. So I want to be completely transparent and serious, and I want to do more, and I want to make sure that everything that I do, I'm doing with all the passion that I have. And I think one of my biggest things is that I have to, I think that there's 100% extremes in both directions, right? There's people who can be way too cocky and way too pompous about how badass they are, and then I think that there's people who are just so self-deprecating and have such imposter syndrome that they can't even acknowledge you know, that anything is good. Like, it doesn't matter what you say or do. And I feel like it can be really easy when you have some of the mental health issues that I have to go to that negative extreme and to lose control over it. And I'm working really hard to get control over it so I can be my best self for me, but then I can also be my best self for the people that I interact with, my family, for you guys. And I think that until, you know, you call out those toxic traits and you hold yourself accountable, you can't grow. You can't grow, because you can tell other people off all day long, but at the end of the day, the person that you're in bed with every night is Patricia. It's Patricia. Yeah, it's Patricia. So you need to make sure that you're putting that part of yourself first, so when you go to bed you can have peace of mind. And one of the things that you have to do to assure that is be making peace within yourself. Ayo. So I've been working really hard on a lot of new projects that I'm going to be releasing soon. You know, I've retired from pinup modeling, like I said, so I'm just kind of restructuring and really kind of tightening up my platforms, my content, what I represent, what I am, what I do. So make sure that you are checking out all of my feeds. The best way to do that is to visit my Linktree. So I have a Linktree and it's called the DollFAM Homebase, and it has everything that you can possibly think of. It's all on there. You guys can reach my merch. I have some really badass merch right now. I have a lot of really fun limited edition Halloween designs that are out. The 31st, those are going to be gone. So if you want anything cool that is vintage doll Halloween related, make sure that you check that out. I also have some a Halloween signed print. So if you want an autograph to add to your pinup autograph collection, I have those available until the end of the month before it changes out. Also, I'm going to be doing some cool giveaways soon, so make sure that you're turning on all of the notifications, you're subscribing to all this stuff, because I'm going to be doing some fun giveaways. I'm going to be releasing all of that very soon on my pages. The best way to stay informed is going to be joining my mailing list. So make sure you head over to my Linktree and you can find where you can subscribe to my mailing list, and that's where I'm going to be starting to send out emails that have all the cool stuff. So you'll know about new merch releases, you'll know about lives, you'll know about giveaways, you'll know about any new projects that are coming out. So make sure that you're hitting up my Linktree, my DollFAM Homebase. Make sure that you're checking out the links, make sure that you're connecting with me. And always feel free to reach out. I have a lot of ways to contact me, so make sure you're checking out those. If you guys need advice, you can hop on to my new Coffee and Advice. It's a coffee page, and what it is it's kind of a advice forum. It's a Monday Coffee with the Doll advice forum. It's kind of new, and if you need advice, or you know, you have something you want to say to me, or you've been inspired by one of my Monday coffees, you can head over to my coffee page and you can either leave me a note that I can get back to, because I return all messages, or if you know it inspires you, you can buy me a coffee, because you know your girl loves their coffee. On that note, and now it's time for a shameless plug from our sponsor. Are you just doggone tired of waking up every morning with no energy? Just a sluggish hound dog, still wishing you could howl at the moon? Well, have no fear. Sleeping Dog Coffee Beans. The coffee beans that get you howling in the morning, just like you were howling at the moon last night. Ayo! Ding! Jessica, I'm so sorry. That was extremely inappropriate. Seriously though, Sleeping Dog Coffee Beans is an absolutely amazing small business. If you guys are looking to have a new brew and experience something that's not, you know, your normal Starbucks or something, you wanna have some good beans, and you also wanna support something that's got greater means, Sleeping Dog Coffee Beans is the way to go. You guys can get 5% off with a code below. Make sure you check that out. She's absolutely amazing. That's also something that I'm going to be opening up. I'm going to be doing some new giveaways here coming up that's going to involve a lot of small business support. So one of the things that I've always focused on is supporting small businesses. I've built a really big platform, and there's really no point in having a big platform if you're not doing something with it to help other people. So one of the things that I've always done is given space on my platforms to small businesses. So I'm going to be doing a lot of really cool things that are going to be getting you guys involved, getting small businesses involved, you know, exciting, fun giveaways for you guys, really awesome, rad, like support and marketing and advertising for some really legit brands that deserve some screen time on some platforms. You know, the things that I bring to people are things that I believe in, they're things that I love, and I'm excited to share with you guys. So if it's trash, it's not on my channel. If it's a sticky bra or a skinny tee, you're not gonna find it here. That's gonna be it for this week's episode. It was way longer than I wanted to, but make sure that you guys are checking out what I said, because there's going to be a lot of fun stuff going on. I don't want you guys to miss out, and I want to be able to share it all with you guys. So be sure to, you know, like and subscribe and ding that bell or whistle. I wish there was a whistle. That would have been way better. So, but you know what it is. These are the days that fill your week. Make them as amazing as you are. I'll see you next time. I love your faces. Bye.